Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited for today's video. It has been almost 6 months since I last did any acrylic pouring, so I'm going to rectify that today. For the longest time I've wanted to try a funnel pour, and I actually bought 2 sets of funnels last year and I used them when I was making my Christmas baubles. But I've seen both Left Brained Artist and Olga Soby do some amazing pouring with funnels, and what I'm intending to do is kind of replicate something that I saw on Olga Soby's channel recently, where she made a galaxy by doing a funnel pour but kind of lifting it up and tapping it down to make ripples, but while turning it on a cake spinner at the same time. So I've never done a funnel pour before, I've never done a ripple pour before, and I've never done this spiral galaxy kind of effect before, so quite ambitious. And I've also seemed to have chosen a lot of colours as well. So anyway, it'll be fun to try it. If it's rubbish, I can scrape the canvas off and try again, but let's hope it works. Let's go. So here's how I've got things set up. I've got a cake spinner here which I've covered in cling film because I'm waiting to get hold of some disposable shower caps to protect that. I do use that for cake decorating, so I don't want to ruin it with paint. I've got my canvas. It'd be better if it was a square one, but I don't have any at the moment. This is the funnel that I'm going to be using, so I'm going to be pouring, kind of splitting the colours apart inside that, but you'll see how I do that in a minute. And in terms of colours, I've got some black, some silver, some white, a couple of different shades of blue that I've mixed myself, a kind of pinky red that I've mixed myself, some gold, which is a mixture of a couple of different metallics. Then I've also got this really gorgeous deco art metallic purple, which I've mixed a little bit of. And for the centre of the galaxy, I just wanted to put a little bit of yellow in as well. So I mixed those up in those cups. I do reuse those plastic cups, but I recently bought a set of silicone cups. I just forgot to get them out. So I've cleaned the inside of those with some sellotape, and yeah, so that's how we're going to go. So I've got my torch ready, I've got my palette knife ready, cardboard behind there. I'm not going to be spinning this super fast, so paint isn't going to go everywhere, but I just want to make sure I don't get paint on the wallpaper because this is not my room, it's my stepdaughter's room. I don't want to spoil her walls. So yeah, silicone mat underneath to catch the drips, and when that dries I can make jewellery with it. So in theory we're all set to go, so hopefully this will work. First step is to cover all the canvas in some black, and then the funnel has something for the paint to come up and out underneath. So let's get started. So I've got paper on the floor, so if you hear me crunching, I'm sorry about that, but as I said, I don't want to ruin the carpet and the walls in my daughter's bedroom. This is the only space I have for pouring. Normally I do it in my pouring box, but because I need to rotate this on the cake spinner, I'm not going to be able to do that. I did a drip test on all these paints and the black was a bit too runny, and I corrected that, and I think I've now over corrected it, so I'm going to have to add a little bit more white back into there. I think a bit of white, a bit of water in, just to thin that down a smidge, because I think that's going to be a little bit too thick for what I'm doing. If I can get this base down. Out a bit, so I'm going to put a little bit in the middle, just so there's like a little puddle there. So now the tricky bit, I have to unlid my bottles and make sure that they're nowhere near where the edge of the canvas can knock them. I'm probably going to have a lot of air bubbles in my paint, but in theory that should be okay. Because if they pop, it'll just look like little stars, so hopefully that'll work. So I need to keep the pressure down so that the funnel seals, and I'm going to start off by putting a bit of black down the sides there and there. When Olga did this, the black sort of took over, so I'm going to be really careful about that. And doing this in a sort of cross shape, so the colours are going down one part of the funnel and the black is on another. So I'm not quite sure how much paint I actually need. I might stop here and then we can go another round if necessary. Just put my yellow in. Just that should hopefully come out last. Okay, so make sure all my bottles are out of the way. So now I need to just lift this up and kind of tap it back down as I rotate the canvas. So we're going to get ripples, and because of the split colours it should come out in two distinct spirals. That's the theory anyway. Put a bit more black. There we go. Okay. Stop stalling, Mary, get on with it. More yellow down the middle there. The yellow is kind of lost, but oh wow, look at that, it's so pretty. Put that down over there. Okay, so now let's gently spin this. Actually, first I'm going to pop some air bubbles. I may also just put some black around the edge to help it extend the flow a little bit. Okay, let's spin this. It doesn't really look like a galaxy, but it's really pretty. It really doesn't want to stretch. That black is too thick. I think it's just not wanting to move. Quite ragged, but I really like that. I'm going to spin some more because there's a lot of paint here that needs to come to the edges. It doesn't seem to want to flow. That's my fault. User error again. Wear gloves. Wear gloves, people, otherwise you'll look like this. Okay, dry my hands. Okay, I've added a little bit more black around the edges. There's one little thing that I want to do. The kind of black spiral bit is sort of lost, so what I'm going to do is to dip my finger into some black paint and just carefully drag my finger through the bits where I really want the black to be visible. Hopefully it won't ruin anything, but I just want there to be just a little bit of black space here in between. Not bothered about it being perfectly circular or anything, I just want that black division, and I think it'll look better. Picking up black paint off the underneath of the canvas and just carefully pulling my finger through. So that's a subtle difference, but I think it looks better. Yeah, I like that. I want to do it with the other spiral as well, which probably starts about here. Okay, blob a bit of white paint down. Rather than a toothbrush, I'm going to use a fan brush. I always used to just use a toothbrush, but it can be a bit too many stars. So I just want to wet this fan brush a little bit. This white paint is really thick and I don't think it will splash. Oh. Well, that didn't work. What a shame. Do you know, I'm going to go back to my toothbrush. I don't like the way that's working. Do some yellow stars as well. Stars are not all white. Okay, and finally I might just dab into a bit of blue for some more stars and then leave it there. It's easy to put too many stars on. I may already have done that, so just find another space here. Okay, so I'm going to clean up my hands and then I'll bring you in to see what it looks like up close while it's wet. So here's the finished result while it's still wet. I think it does look like a galaxy. If you look at it from above, it looks like a galaxy. When it's dry, I'll put some bigger stars on it, and I may go through and make those black areas a little bit wider. I'm a bit reluctant to do anything else to it right now. I don't want to ruin it. I I like the fluidity of the movement, and if I go through with more now, I think I may ruin it. But let me bring you in to see some details. Quite a few cells have popped up. I left it to sit for a little while, so lots of cell action popping up. I torched it again, so a few things have come through. You can see where I've put the blue and white and yellow stars, but because of the different cells popping up, it looks like stars of other colours are there too, which I think is really awesome. There's quite a bit of sky visible in the corners where I will probably put some bigger stars once it's dry. There's loads of small ones. I don't need any more little stars, that's for sure. I always go too mad with the stars. But yeah, the yellow came through in the end. It looked like it wasn't going to, but I love how it's kind of got that cell sort of action around it. It's so pretty. Yeah, I'm actually really happy with this. You never quite know what result you're going to get with fluid acrylics, and I think that's one of the reasons I love it so much, because the usual art that I do that's astronomy related is astronomy sketching of objects that I'm trying to create a sketch that is kind of scientifically accurate. So you agonize over every detail and try to get it photo perfect. With this, you can know what technique you want to do and have a vague idea of your colours and all of that stuff. But I have never ever got the result that I think I'm going to get when I'm doing fluid acrylics. And that is what I love about it. It gives you just that mindset of just free, and whatever comes out will come out. And I've had some really awesome results that way. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. It's spirally, it's in galaxy colours, it's got stars on it, so that kind of tells you what it is straight away. So we'll see what it looks like dry. Ooh, I had some leftover paint that was kind of not enough to be worth keeping, so I dumped it on the silicone mat and did some swiping, and once these dry I'll be able to use the skins in jewellery making. But how cool are these cells? They're so pretty. Whenever I've done swipes, they've never come out quite how I planned, but these look amazing. So yeah, they'll look really good as pendants. I've only just swiped that one. Hopefully some more will come up there, but there's some really cool stuff down here too. Look at the different colours in those cells. I have never ever managed to produce cells like that before, I don't think, anyway. These are just going to look so cool as jewellery, or maybe some other projects because they're quite big. But I never waste the paint. I either save it, put it in a bottle and keep it airtight, or do something like this with it so I can peel off the skins and save them. So pretty. So here's the finished result. It's dried nicely. I haven't done any touch-ups. I've not added any additional stars. There are a couple of places on the canvas that need a little bit of touch-up on the back, but otherwise I'm really pleased with this. The colours came out really nicely. I think I got away with the black being the wrong consistency. But yeah, first time I've used a funnel, first time I've used the spinner. So yeah, there's a lot of firsts in this painting. I was very ambitious trying all of those things at once, but I really like it. It's incredibly difficult to film this and actually get it looking how I'm seeing it with my eyes, but I will insert a proper photograph of it. Combination of being a black canvas and a lot of metallic paints, this is just not looking right on camera. It's really strange. One thing that I really like that I wasn't going for is, I can really see when I tilt it, actually the colours show up better. Because my black wasn't as fluid as it should be, the paint wasn't moving across the canvas as well as it should have. So these bits around here ended up way wobblier, and these kind of little blobby bits around there. But I actually really like that. I think it adds more movement. I was going for the nice smooth spirals, but as I said earlier on in the video, you never know exactly what you're going to get with fluid art, and that's one of the reasons I love it so much. So there's a lot of things I really love about this painting. It's going to have to cure for a couple of weeks before I can varnish it, so this is just the dried result without any finishing. Once the varnish layer goes on, that should bring the colours out a little bit more. But yeah, let me know what you think. Is this a technique that you've tried yourself? Is it one that you're going to try? I will link Olga's original video that I took the inspiration from in the description box below. Also, Left Brained Artist did a really good video about kind of how to do funnel pours in different ways. There's definitely, I could have done a traveling funnel and got a very similar result, or a split cup would have given me a similar result as well. So there's a lot of different ways of achieving the same thing really with fluid art. I think you could even do a traveling tree ring and get something very similar to this. So if you haven't got a silicone funnel and you haven't got a spinner, you could still create something very similar to this, I think. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll insert a proper photograph of the painting now, and take care guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.